hands raised. Excellent. Well, let's move on. So what I want you to do is label your paper with example 1. So write example 1. There's going to be a video of this for later. So you'll be able to go back if you need to see it again. You're going to be looking for the video of the one that's labeled example 1. So label the place on your paper example 1. And then what you're going to write down is this compound here. So P4O5. Okay. So we're going to do percent composition. And I'm going to lead you through this first one, and then I'm going to ask for help for the second one. The best part about this is the bulk of it is something you've already done. So step 1 in finding percent composition is we need to find the formula mass of the whole compound. That's the first thing that we need to do, is find that formula mass. Well, we've already done that. We learned how to do that on Monday, and you practiced it on Tuesday. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to list my elements. I've got phosphorus and I've got oxygen. These are the 2 things in my compound. So make sure that you have written on your paper example 1 and that you have P4O5. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to figure out what elements. So we're going to be getting our formula mass. So we list the elements just like we learned the other day. I'm going to use our friend, the periodic table. If I can find my periodic table. And we're going to look up the masses. So I'm going to find phosphorus is a nonmetal, so it's over here on this side. It's 30.97. Okay, and then I'm going to look up oxygen, and oxygen is 16. Okay, then the next thing I need to do is multiply by the subscript. So I have 4 by phosphorus, so I'm going to multiply that by 4. I'm going to put that into my calculator. So 30.97 times 4. And that's going to give me 123.88. And that's going to be grams of phosphorus. Then I'm going to do the same thing for oxygen. I have a subscript of 5 next to my oxygen, so I'm going to multiply it by 5. So I'm going to take 16, I'm going to multiply it by 5, and I get 80. So I have 80.00 grams of oxygen. Okay, then my last step for finding my formula mass is I have to add these together, just like that. So I'm going to take my 123.88 and I'm going to add to it 80 grams. And I get 203.88. And that's grams of P4O5. Okay. And so that's equivalent to this number right here, formula mass of the whole compound. So this is all old stuff. You guys have done this already. This is what we did on Monday. This is what you practiced on Tuesday. Here comes the new stuff. So we're going to use this equation right here. So when we find percent composition, we have to find the percent of this overall mass. So we have this full mass. And what we're doing when we're talking about percent composition is what percent of this 203 grams comes from phosphorus, and what percent of this 203 grams comes from oxygen. So this is going to be a percent like you've done in any other class. So we're going to take our percent phosphorus. I'm going to calculate that first. So I'm going to take my mass of my element. So my mass of my element, my mass of my phosphorus was 123.88 grams of phosphorus. And that's going to go on top. Okay, then the bottom number is my formula mass, and that's what we calculated right here. So the bottom number is 203.88 grams of P4O5. Okay, and then the last thing that it told us to do is that we need to multiply this by 100. Okay. So we need to take these numbers, divide them, and then multiply by 100. So I'm going to put that into my calculator. So 123.88 divided by 203.88 times 100. And we're going to get 60.76%. So of this 203 grams, 60% of it comes from phosphorus. Now we're going to turn around and we're going to do this for oxygen. So percent for oxygen, we have a mass of 80 grams. So we're going to take our mass of our element, so 80 grams of oxygen, and we're going to divide it by our total mass, which was 203.88 grams, and that's P4O5. Okay, then we're going to multiply it by 100. And so 80, I'm going to put that in the calculator, 80 divided by 203.88 times 100, and I get 39.24%. Okay, now if I've done everything right, because this is only made of 2 components, if I add these together, I should get 100%. And I did it, so I know that my work is right. So 60% of the mass comes from phosphorus, and 40%, roughly 40, so 39% comes from my oxygen. So we're going to represent this in a pie chart. So this is a pie chart over here. And so 60% of it was phosphorus, so that's going to be my bigger pie piece, because 60 is my bigger number. So phosphorus is going to take up this chunk. Okay. And then my oxygen takes up this chunk. So there's example 1. Yeah, so Chris, we do it for both elements. So I just started with phosphorus because it was the one that I had on top and it was the one that I wrote down first, and then I did oxygen second. But I could have started with oxygen and then done phosphorus and it would have been fine. Okay, so that's example 1. All right, so then the next thing that